Everybody, what a treat. Please welcome Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's like you're in Kiss, you know.
Well, they had this was a gift.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like, this is a fantastic hat, and I want to represent.
You did a
I
good
want
job.
to represent.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
How do you know when you're ready to direct? Is it where you wake up and say, "Look, I'm ready to direct a film," or because this is your first one, right?
I've directed in the theater for about 13 years, and this film came out of a production that we all worked on and that I just acted in. And these companies wanted to make it into a film. And I had always in the back of my mind thought about maybe directing a film one day, but in the back of my mind, and so when they approached us about it, we thought, well, that's exciting. Let's think. Or John Ortiz basically said, well, why don't you direct it? As it seemed like a logical outgrowth of what our artistic relationship had been, and with all the people involved.
You're familiar with the material.
Familiar with the material, and I had to think. I thought about it for a couple weeks, and then I started kind of seeing it, and I started getting jazzed about it. And then we had this great couple years. We adapted it, and it was good fun.
Is fear a motivating factor for you?
At times, yeah, and it mostly hits me when I'm about to do something that's incredibly difficult, and especially if that thing is in front of people, like John and I did this production of Othello like a year ago, and which was I played Iago, incredibly difficult, and it's impossible to not experience an acute fear in the middle of that, and it motivates you, you get motivated.
Do you manage it well?
Sometimes you implode and you just try to get through it, and then that's a lesson. Then that happened, you know what I mean?
You appear to be a confident actor, but when you walk onto a set as an actor, are you confident in the character?
Actually, acting's a lot of terror. You know what I mean? It's a lot of like what you're feeling right now. Yeah. It's like being in front of people. You know what I mean? It's something. But there's a thrill and there's obviously a lot that goes into it. So it's a whole different beast to directing.
The thing of this movie which I thought was so interesting is, and obviously not knowing how you are in the real world about this, but this quest for intimacy, when somebody who in their heart knows that they would value intimacy so much, but on the outside they're just not good at it.
Yeah.
And getting there. And I know a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
This guy will go through that a lot.
Yeah, well, it's funny, he's my age, he's in his early 40s, and he lives alone, works for his uncle in a limo company, and that's his life. He's let a lot of things pass him by, and I think that's actually not abnormal. I think a lot of people will relate to that in one way or another. That life just kind of went by. I didn't get the driver's license. I didn't learn how to drive. I didn't learn how to swim. I never became a good cook. This is that guy, and so he meets a woman that just blows it wide open.
All the things
and that's
she wants.
this movie. Right in the beginning of the movie, you see him meet this woman, and it just blows him apart, and he realizes, oh, I gotta do it. And so he starts to learn to do these things because he sees it now, So
and you get the sense too that almost regardless of what happens between him and the woman, that at the end of the experience he is going to have a more fully realized life.
Absolutely.
This business that you're in, it can be really isolating, certainly on a set. Talk with the need for friendship and loyalty and those kind of connections in your workspace.
Well, that's the thing. It's, to get up in front of people, it's a trust thing. You know what I mean? And that you have to be working with people who you trust and who you can take risks with, who you can be who you are around, which isn't always pretty. You know what I mean? It's like those are the people that you become incredibly close to in an artistic relationship, because those are the people you can be and do whatever that is in order to accomplish the goal at hand,
You, me, and a lot of people are in that generation now where you reach your late 30s and your early 40s, where we delayed adulthood for a long time.
Yeah, that's our generation.
We really are the ones.
Embarrassing.
Our parents' generation went and built countries.
Ooh, yeah.
But the craziest part about embracing your own adulthood, which you're in that stage now, is when you kind of look and go, oh, okay. So now not that you see the end, but you know that death is coming and youth is coming.
It's true.
Right?
It's true, right? You all identify. I know you identify.
Well, how are you dealing with that?
Well, you know, I met a woman, Mimi O'Donnell, when I was 30. Yeah. And when we were 34, we had a child. And now we have 3. And I'm 43. And I'm still wondering if I'm an adult. Do you know what I mean? As I look at my 3 kids. Or I'll be like, we have a third? Oh, yeah. And it is an amazing thing, you know, this desire to hold on to that youth because you see it going, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's what's great about kids, I have to say. It's like everything that became old and kind of morose about growing, you know, like holidays or birthdays or summertime, you know, now is all great again. You know, like we just went through a summer with our kids. It's an incredible thing going through, because you forgot, remember summer when you were a kid? Summertime. You know, you get to become an adult, and summertime's work. Man. It's just a continuation of work, you know, and restaurants and, you know, coffee and sleeping and napping and stuff. And then all of a sudden kids, it's like, oh, summer, yeah, that's what we're gonna go to the beach, we're gonna do this. And so that's pretty amazing. That's a beautiful thing. You know?
But do you then look around going, now I'm my dad?
I'm my dad, and now I understand, and why did I give my dad such a hard time? Now I get it. This isn't easy. It isn't easy to love something as much as you love a child. Mm-hmm. It's like looking into the sun, you know what I mean? It's intense. Do you have life lessons from your folks that you that you go, I didn't used to subscribe to this, but now I really want to impart this on your kid? That just to stay, I mean, life lessons, you know, to stay in it with the kids. I mean, that's the thing. It's hard, from what I just said, because no matter what they do, no matter how out of hand they get or whatever it is, that love, my experience, that love is that intense, and it can make you crazy. You know, that kind of love makes people crazy. And as we all know from being parents and witnessing our parents, you know, and that's the lesson that I've learned. Like, I look back now and go, oh, okay, that's why my dad couldn't handle that. Right. Or that's why my mom couldn't handle that. Do you make choices now for what you'll do based on what you think your kids will watch one day? Oh God, you know, not enough. I gotta be honest. I don't think I've made anything my kids can watch till they're like 40. Hey Dad, let's rent happiness. Put it down. Put it down. Put it down. Oh God, no, yeah. No, I made it. It's funny because I did a voice on an animated movie called Max and Mary, which is a terrific film if you ever get a chance to see it. And there's like a guy like kills himself in it, you know. It's not a kid movie. The one animated movie I make's for adults. It's amazing. So you know. Before I go answer apology, I want to ask you. Your mother was a judge, right? Like a family judge? She was a family court judge. I'm assuming not like Judge Judy. Yeah, no, not like Judge Judy. Yeah. That's a strong role model to have in your life. Did you? Powerful, yeah. She's a. Well, when I was 9, I think. I'm one of 4, and my mom, when she was 37, my parents split up around them, and my mom went to law school. And she was 37 and had 4 kids, and in Buffalo, and she became a lawyer. And in 2000, she ran for family court judge, and she became. So yeah, that tells you a little bit about, you know, her makeup. And that sort of would be instilled in you as well, the idea of, well, just go do it if you need it. Yeah, that's my mom. My dad, I think, was more conservative on that level, you know, which also has its merits, you know. But my mom was, she was driven that way. Let's do some anthropology. I'm just going to throw some questions at you. What's the silliest thing you've ever done for love? Oh my God. Well, you know what? The thing that's popping into my mind is about Mimi, but it's really silly and it's so beautiful that the girl that I have a family with now, I called her. She broke up with somebody. It had been a year. I still hadn't asked her out. So I was sitting in a chair. waiting to call her, and I couldn't get up the phone rang while I was in the chair. I answered as a friend of mine. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm trying to call Mimi O'Donnell on a date." And he's like, "Listen, I'm gonna hang up the phone. I'll call you back in 20 minutes. If you haven't called her and asked her out, you are an effing no, no, no." And I was like, "Okay." So then I did. I left her a message. So this is she called me back 24 hours later and left me. She said, "Yes, I would like to go out." Well, she told me a year later that her sister had said, "When you call him back, bend over and talk to him so your voice doesn't sound too high and so you don't let him know you're nervous." So just picture there's this woman calling me back like this. "Yes, I would like to." And she actually did that. And so like that tells you a lot about how kind of crazy we were about each other.
That's amazing, though. What's your favorite Hollywood film of all time?
Oh, wow. I might expose myself.
You should.
No,
That's really the idea.
Because guilty pleasures immediately kind of. Well, Hollywood. When I think of Hollywood film, I think of like real, like, that's a bunch.
Like for me, it's Love Actually. I can't get over it.
That's
I don't
pretty
know why.
great. Yeah, that's pretty great.
But
that's pretty great. No, Bad News Bears.
Well, that's a great film.
Bad News Bears. Yeah.
It's the first age-inappropriate movie you ever saw.
Gosh, you know what? I think it was one of those zombie movies, to be quite honest, and I was really young. This is told truth. It was like of the Dead thing, and we stayed up really late, and we weren't supposed to watch it, and we did, and I had a nightmare for days. Yeah, I think that was probably the first one.
The film's called Jack Goes Boating. It's really, really good. You guys see Philip Seymour Hoffman, everyone. Good to see you, man. Thanks so much. Thanks for coming to the show. Strabo.com is the website. We'll see you next time. I really appreciate it.